The office was too quiet that night, just the hum of the city below and the glow of his desk lamp cutting shadows across his face. Mr. King leaned back, jacket draped over the chair, shirt open at the collar. He didn't look like my boss anymore. He looked like a man studying me, waiting on me to break. I tried to focus on the numbers in front of me, but my eyes kept drifting to the way his hand gripped that glass, veins running up his forearm, watch catching the light. He'd say something slick, low, and smooth, and I'd laugh a little too hard, a little too long, just to cover the fact that I was feeling him. The rain outside hit harder, thunder rolling like it was warning me, but I stayed right there. He slid a drink across the desk to me, eyes locked on mine the whole time, and when our fingers brushed, my breath caught. I could feel the air shift, thicker, heavier, like the room itself was holding its breath with us. Silence stretched out. His hand lingered on mine just a second too long, and my body reacted before my mind could catch up. I didn't move, didn't pull away, and that's where it started, right there in the quiet, in the space between what I should have done and what I wanted to do. What I didn't know was the man sitting across from me wasn't just a boss with secrets. He was a husband. And that one touch, it was about to flip my whole world upside down. The next morning, I was still floating. My skin buzzed from every near touch, every look he gave me before we finally shut down the office. Nothing had happened, not yet, but it felt like it was written all over me. My reflection in the elevator doors looked guilty, glowing, like I'd already crossed a line. I barely made it home, heels in my hand, makeup smudged from the rain. I tossed my purse on the couch, collapsed, and let my phone buzz where it fell. After a minute, curiosity got the best of me. I reached over and checked. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. Hello? My voice was groggy, soft. The line crackled, and then came a woman's voice, sharp, controlled, like honey laced with poison. So, you're the little secretary he's been keeping late? My stomach dropped. Excuse me. You heard me? She hissed. I'm his wife. And if you think you're about to slide into my spot, you better think again. I froze, my pulse throbbing in my throat. Wife? Nobody said anything about a wife. He never wore a ring, never mentioned her. Nothing. I pulled the phone from my ear, staring at it like it could explain itself. My world tilted, the glow from last night dimming into something cold. And just like that, the slow fire I let myself feel turned into flames licking at my heels, because now I wasn't just playing with temptation. I was in the middle of somebody's marriage, and his wife, she had me on speed dial. The calls didn't stop after that first one, morning, lunch break, midnight. Every time her number popped up, my stomach tightened, but curiosity always made me answer. And she never sounded broken like I thought she would. Nah, this woman wasn't crying. She was plotting. One night she caught me off guard. I had just slipped out the shower, steam still clinging to my skin, when her voice slid through the line, cool as ice. Since you want my husband so bad, she purred, we can do it together. I damn near dropped the phone. What? You heard me, she said, that tone sharp enough to slice through the air. You think you're the first one? Please. If you're bold enough to spread your legs for him, you can spread them in front of me too. Matter of fact, I'll set the time. I'll set the place. My knees went weak, the phone hot against my ear. It wasn't jealousy in her voice, it was control. Like she was the one pulling all the strings. Like her marriage wasn't breaking, but bending in ways I couldn't wrap my head around. Part of me wanted to hang up. The other part couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, couldn't decide if I was scared or intrigued. Because now, it wasn't just me and him sneaking around. His wife had stepped into the game and she was making the rules. I couldn't sleep that night. Her words sat on my chest heavier than any man ever had. Every buzz of my phone felt like another dare, another trap I wasn't sure if I wanted to run from or fall into. She didn't argue. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. Nah, she played it like a woman who knew she had the upper hand. Every call was a test, her voice low, deliberate, dripping with power. So, what's it gonna be, little girl? You scared? She teased one night, laughing soft and dangerous. Don't act shy now. You wanted him, right? Wanted what was mine? then step all the way in, see how it really feels. My breath hitched, but I stayed quiet. Oh, I get it, she continued. You thought it was just you and him. You thought you was special. Baby, I've seen your type come and go, but if you're bold enough to keep answering my calls, then you bold enough to show up when I tell you to. Click. Silence. I sat there staring at the phone like it was about to explode, heart racing, palms sweaty. I didn't know if I was more scared of her or of myself for not blocking her number. Because the truth was, every time she called, part of me wanted to say yes. Days turned into weeks and the calls didn't stop. They just got sharper, smarter. She didn't just want to rattle me, she wanted to own me. One night she'd come soft, almost sisterly, telling me I was pretty enough to keep around. The next night she'd cut deep, reminding me I was just another pawn in her marriage. It messed with my head. And the worst part, she was seductive with it. Her voice would drop low, silky, wrapping around me like smoke. You should have seen the look on his face when I told him, she whispered once. He didn't even blink. That man will do whatever I say, including you. My thighs clenched under the sheets. I hated myself for the shiver that ran through me. She knew exactly what she was doing, dangling control in front of me, mixing fear with arousal until I couldn't tell the difference. Every time my phone lit up, I told myself I wouldn't answer. But I always did. And she always left me shaken, breathing hard, caught somewhere between shame and curiosity. You think you want him? She said on our last call, her voice low and taunting. But the real question is, can you handle both of us? Click. The silence after her words was louder than any scream. I sat there in the dark, phone still in my hand, pulse racing like I'd just run miles. Because deep down, I knew she wasn't bluffing. She was setting the stage, and me, I couldn't tell if I was being hunted or invited. It was close to midnight when my phone lit up again. I almost let it ring out, but something in me knew this wasn't another game. I answered on the third buzz, my voice already shaky. Her tone was different this time. No teasing, no threats. Just straight business. Friday, 9 o'clock. The W Hotel, Uptown, Suite 1907. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. What? You heard me. Her words rolled out smooth, commanding, like she was calling shots in a boardroom. You've had my husband's attention long enough. Now you're gonna have mine too. Show up clean, show up cute, or don't show up at all. Either way, I'll know what kind of woman you really are. The line went dead before I could even breathe a response. I sat there in the dark, the weight of her words pressing on my chest. My phone screen glowed, mocking me, daring me to block her. But I couldn't. All week, her voice stayed in my head. Every outfit I pulled from my closets felt like it was for her, not him. Every look in the mirror came with questions I wasn't ready to answer. Friday came too fast. My hands shook as I zipped my dress, my reflection looking back at me with equal parts fear and hunger. By the time I pulled up to the W, I wasn't sure if I was walking into a trap, a fantasy, or the end of everything I thought I knew. And when that suite door cracked open, revealing both of them standing there, him cool and silent, her smiling like the cat who caught the canary, I realized one thing for sure. I wasn't in control anymore. The moment I stepped inside that suite, my breath caught. This wasn't just a hotel room, it was a setup. The curtains were drawn tight, lights dimmed low, candles flickering against crimson walls. The king-size bed had been pushed back, replaced by a bench padded in leather. Chains gleamed against the wall. A table on the side glittered with toys I'd only ever seen in late-night catalogs. Cuffs, whips, glass, silicone, silk. She stood in the center of it all, like a queen in her throne room, heels clicking against the marble as she circled me. Her eyes dragged down my body, deliberate, slow, making my skin prickle. So you came, she said, lips curling into a smile that was equal parts wicked and satisfied. Behind her, he leaned against the wall, jacket gone, shirt open, watching me with that same luring stare that first pulled me in. But this time, it wasn't just him. His wife's presence filled the room, heavier than smoke, her control undeniable. Let's get something straight, she said, stepping closer, voice low. This ain't about him choosing you. This is about me letting you breathe in my space. She reached past me, fingers grazing a leather strap on the wall, and smirked. "Aunt, since you're here, you'll play by my rules." My heart pounded so loud I thought it might echo off the walls. The toys, the chains, the benches. It wasn't just sex. It was power. And she held it all in her manicured hands. He finally spoke, voice deep, steady, but his eyes stayed locked on mine. "She said you were bold. Don't prove her wrong now." The air was thick, charged, every nerve in my body torn between fear, lust, and the twisted thrill of surrender. Because this wasn't just a threesome. It was a battlefield. She picked up a silk blindfold from the table, letting it dangle from her fingertips like a dare. Her eyes never left mine as she stepped in close, her perfume thick and sweet, her voice low enough to graze my skin. "Rule number 1, she murmured, brushing the blindfold against my cheek. "You move when I say move. Rule number 2, you touch what I allow. Break those rules and you'll wish you never answered my call." I swallowed hard, heat climbing my neck. She turned to him next, snapping her fingers without looking. "Sit." He obeyed, lowering onto the bench like he'd done this before. My chest tightened. He was powerful in the boardroom, untouchable in the office, but here he was hers. She pressed the blindfold into my palm. "Put it on." My fingers trembled as I slid the silk over my eyes, the world falling into darkness, every sound sharpened. The soft click of her heels, the rasp of leather sliding free, the faint hum of anticipation in the air. "Spread her legs," she ordered, her voice slicing through me. I felt his hands on me, warm, steady, almost gentle. As he obeyed, my breath hitched, body betraying me, responding before my mind could protest. "Good," she purred. "Now let's see how bold my little secretary really is." A cool touch of metal circled my wrist, the snap of cuffs echoing like thunder in my ears. I gasped, tugging instinctively, but she only laughed, low, throaty, satisfied. "This ain't about love," she whispered close to my ear, her breath hot against my skin. "This is about power. Mine." As the first sting of leather kissed my thigh, I knew I wasn't just in their bed. I was in their game. I don't even remember how long I was in that room. Minutes, hours, it all bled together under the low light and the sound of her voice. I remember the smell of leather and candle wax, the sting of cuffs on my wrists, and the way the silk blindfold turned every touch into fire. I remember him, my boss, the man I thought I wanted, moving when she snapped, stopping when she said stop. His strength wasn't his anymore. She directed it, placed it where she wanted, and I was the canvas. And her? She was in every corner of that night. The click of her heels, the brush of her fingers against my skin, the way her laughter slid over me like satin but cut like glass. She whispered in my ear, close enough to make me shiver, then stepped back and watched me like she was studying her work. I should have felt dirty. Maybe I did. But underneath the fear and the shame, there was something else. Something that scared me even more. I felt alive. Controlled, yes. Used, maybe, but seen in a way that left me rattled. When it was over, she unclipped the cuffs herself, like she was setting me free just because she could. He didn't move, didn't speak. He was background noise by then. It was her game, and I was just the player who got pulled in it. And when she leaned down and told me this was a one-night show, I knew she meant it. Not because she couldn't do it again, but because she wanted me to leave with that night carved into me like a scar. I left that hotel with an intense desire, body trembling, mind on fire. It wasn't his touch I couldn't shake. It was hers. I was addicted to her power, and I wanted some of my own.